Welcome to Grad School Life by PhD Balance, a new mini segment of Grad Chat where we speak to graduate students about the behind the scenes day-to-day life in their programs. I'm your host, Courtney Applewhite. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Religious Studies at the University of California, Santa Barbara, studying death. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on your chosen platform to get notifications about new episodes. And if you're in the mood today, maybe leave us a little 5-star review. That helps people find us and learn more about our podcast and what we're doing here. And today I'm joined by Bri Kriely. And Bri is an LMHC in private practice and a creative counseling consultant and coach. She's currently a doctoral candidate in counseling education and supervision. She's also a human and dog mom. Very important. She received her undergraduate degree in psychology and studio art and MS in clinical mental health counseling. Her hope is to contribute to the counseling field through research, education, supervision, and direct client support. To complete her current program, she is working on finishing her dissertation, aren't we all? And it's on creativity and multicultural self-efficacy in online counseling education. And in addition to that, her fieldwork experience. So welcome to the show, Bri.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we always like to start the show off with asking, what is something you do on a daily basis that gives your PhD life balance?
Yeah, so something that I do every day is I engage in different forms of meditation, but not in the standard form that you would think. Like I cannot sit quietly with myself. So I usually am doodling or doing some type of expressive art, sometimes writing poetry. So sometimes words are involved, but something that gets my creative juices flowing.
Yeah, that seems very on brand with the dissertation that you're pursuing as well.
Yeah.
Did you start doing that practice as a result of some of your research?
Not entirely. I think my personal foundation led me to want to study creativity, and I didn't know how it existed in my field. And so I dove into that through the practice, but the practice of that kind of creative, expressive meditation has absolutely allowed me to kind of stay grounded in the research that I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, it grounded in general and then grounded in the research, all really positive things.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so when you go back to why you decided to apply to grad school, what was your decision process like? And when you were applying, what did you think it would be like? Did you have a sense of what your experience would be like?
I did and I didn't. I felt like I knew what it was going to be like, but I tried to stay open to sometimes when I think I know what I'm getting myself into, I'm wrong. The coursework was a little bit more intense than I thought. The time commitment was more than I thought. I think we all struggle with thinking we have more time than we do. I ultimately decided to continue pursuing school because my interest and what I really saw myself doing on a day-to-day, I couldn't do with the degrees and the education that I had. So I had to continue pursuing additional education to get to where I wanted to be.
Yeah, and why did you decide on the particular program that you were interested in? Was it directly tied to what you want to do afterwards?
So yes, and that was the biggest challenge I think I encountered was I had achieved my first goal of getting my master's in clinical counseling so I could do mental health counseling and act as a counselor. And then I knew the next step was I wanted to teach and do research, but I didn't know entirely what that was going to look like. So I had to dive into what programs are available, what will they allow me to do, and ultimately what I wanted to do, which is teach and do research. I found in the current program that I'm in.
And where is, let's see, I don't think we talked directly. Where are you at physically? Like where are you at physically and what program are you enrolled in?
Yeah, so this is actually straightforward, but I'll give you some context to this answer. So I'm enrolled at Capella University, and they are an online hybrid program. So I do pretty much all of my coursework online. It's considered an online program, but there are residencies that I go to different cities throughout my program to kind of get hands-on in-person experience as well. I knew that I would be traveling and moving around a little bit during this process of getting my degree. So I had to almost do an online program, which was new to me. My undergrad was not online, but my master's degree and my PhD have been primarily online.
Well, it seems like you were ahead of the curve with the online school a little bit.
Yes, there's definitely some benefits to that.
Yeah, everyone's reality now.
Yep.
So what does that mean? What does your day-to-day look like so you're working on, you're a candidate now, you're working on your dissertation. So what does your day-to-day today look like?
So my day-to-day is as structured or unstructured as I want it to be, which is the most complicated part. But something that I have really grown at because I've been doing online education for almost 7 years now. My day-to-day looks different all of the time. I schedule out my research time. So whether that's researching for my dissertation or researching for papers and assignments, and then I leave free time I have a to-do list that whatever's on that to-do list, I kind of accomplish it during my free time section. And then I always save space for me time, but it looks different every day.
Okay, so can you walk us through, I know it looks different every day. So like, one day last week, can you walk us through like when you got up, when you ate, and when you're doing your work, just to kind of give us a sense of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that doesn't change is my mornings. My mornings always start with me and my kiddo, both of my kiddos, dog and human. I wake up, I get my son up, get breakfast, we eat together. I try to have some one-on-one time in the morning because as a grad student, you are making lots of sacrifices. And one of those sacrifices is often family time. And so I really am intentional about making time for my husband and my child, including my dog. So after that, I hand off my child either to my husband or he goes to school. And then I spend a little bit of time getting myself ready. So that's when I will do my meditation type practice, or I will look at what my to-do list is, create that to-do list so I know what my week looks like or what that day looks like. And then I get started. I tend to have the start of my day be the brain heavy stuff because that's when I can contribute the most. That's how I work best. And then I kind of wind down throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always feel like my brain kind of like stops working in the afternoon hours for some reason. There's a dip in the afternoon where I'm like, well, email is about all I can handle at this point.
Yep.
Well, so every day is different and every day isn't perfect. Can you give me an example of a day that didn't look like your sort of normal, typical day?
Yes. So anything can throw a wrench in my plans, from mostly child being a mom. That will be the biggest wrench, where I'll plan on having all day to do writing for my dissertation. And then I find out that someone got sick in my son's class and I have to go get him. So then that looks like trying to tame a toddler while researching, and that's just not possible. Aside from that, one of the biggest things that will happen is either I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling motivated, or I come across something in the literature that completely changes the way I see the world. And I have to take the time to sit with it and decide how I'm going to integrate it and understand it in my life.
Yeah. So what I was curious about is when you're going through the literature and you have those moments where you have to sit with things, do you ever have the scoop moment where you're like, oh no, they might have gotten me on this one?
So I haven't had the scoop moment. I've also never heard it called that. So I love it and I am stealing it. I've had moments of, oh my gosh, I'm not targeting the right area or the right focus, and I'm completely missing the mark. So that happens probably the most frequently for me. And it happens a little bit every day.
Yeah. I think I love the fact that you seem really at peace with the idea that like some days just aren't going to be that perfectly scheduled day, because I think one of the things we need to normalize in academia is the fact that we aren't, or just generally maybe, we aren't like productivity machines, like particularly during this unstructured time that you're in, which is dissertation writing, which
Yeah.
is you don't have like classes to attend, you don't have specific assignments that you have to be turning in on a weekly basis. So I think that sort of grace that you give yourself is really important.
Yeah. I've learned that I am a creature that needs time for deep work to happen. So I need to schedule big chunks of time, and I have to leave that time kind of undefined in order to make progress forward. So I have structure, but the structure is still very fluid, which helps me keep moving forward or take breaks when I need it.
Yeah, totally. And do you use any sort of like tools to sort of help you with that structured the structure of your day?
Yeah, so not really. I use a very, technical schedule that I made in Word, and don't ever use Word to make a chart because it just doesn't work. Um, but that is ultimately what I did, and I try really hard to follow it. And it's really simply like that dedicated time in the morning, that's family time, and then a pretty hard cutoff time. I try not to work past 9 p.m. unless I'm really in the middle of trying to get to a deadline, and I have conversations with my support people about, hey, I'm going to be working late tonight. But yeah, other than that, I will set timers on my phone to remind me to get up when I'm doing that deep work, because I can't sit for that long, but I absolutely can sit for that long.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to do the same thing, because then you realize you've been like hunched and typing for hours and you get up and you're like, oh no, it's like pretty detrimental.
Yes, absolutely.
And you talked about this a little bit before, but what do you want to do next?
Yes, so I'm actually really, really excited about the next step. Once I get this degree, which ultimately, you think if you're getting one of the highest forms of education, a PhD, like you really should be able to do whatever it is you want to do. And I finally feel like I'm going to have all the credentials to do those things. And those things consist of teaching counselors that are in doctoral programs and master's programs, particularly. I'm really invested in developing new counselors because that experience was so transformative for me that I want to always have a piece of that in my life. And then I also want to research. I never knew how much I wanted to research. I always had an interest in it, just never thought I was capable of it. But I love contributing to the field, and I love the idea of doing research to do that.
Yeah, that's excellent. So you're thinking you wanting to stay in academia and go that route.
Yeah, absolutely. I have interests in many different areas, so I know that I'll continue to be a practicing counselor. I will continue to I will carry a smaller caseload so that I can also be an educator. And then creativity and consultation for counseling is a pretty big thing. So a lot of people that I talk to about it are like, whoa, that's like too many things. How can you do all of that? But the very nature of being a counselor is being a counselor, being an educator, being a supervisor. We're already trained in being these different roles, and they really integrate and mesh well together. So it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel very conflicting or confusing for me. It seems very natural and what I'm supposed to do with all of the knowledge and educational training that I have.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love one of the things I love about the training we receive as doctoral students, and you sounds like in particular in your programs, is this ability to do a lot of different things. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that I would feel very limited if I felt like the only thing that I was going to do was like one of those items. It's that diversity that makes it really special.
Yeah, that is so spot on for me. And I think that's kind of characteristic of what my days look like. I'm always doing different things. I'm always working. I'm always doing something, but it's always a little bit different. Sometimes I'm directly counseling people. Sometimes I'm consulting with new counselors and helping them through their cases. Sometimes I'm educating. And sometimes I'm being like total introvert nerd and just reading tons of research and geeking out about how it's going to improve my ability to provide services. I love them all, and I'm not willing to give any of them up.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like you need to. It sounds like they all integrate well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if our listeners want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so the best place to connect with me, I do have an Instagram account that I check regularly. It's my consulting business, the Creative Complement Company. And then Bri at thecreativecc.com is my email. And that's the one I check most regularly for connections about grad school, consulting, all that kind of stuff. So that's the best place to reach me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about a day in your life.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone joining us. This has been Grad School Life by PhD Balance. Episodes of Grad School Life are posted on Thursdays, and Grad Chat episodes are now posted on Saturdays on our podcast and our YouTube channel. For more information about Grad School Life by PhD Balance, you can check out our website, phdbalance.com, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PhD_balance. You can find me at CApplewhiteX on Twitter and Instagram. Until next time, bye y'all, and take care of yourselves.